Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, of course.
Prossimo elogio è nato per first of all here at the conference. Rialza Duomo.
I like this guy. He already wants to do a glass of wine, right? Do it up.
Ok ragazzi, ok. Ciao David. Don't forget to put some Dolce Vita in your food tour.
For sure.
Ciao.
Just give me a minute. So many great food spots in Florence. My buddy Massimo, who has an agency, has asked me to come up with an insider's food guide. You know, a tour of Florence, food, the whole works. So this way, tourists can get really excited. I brought Chris along to take some shots so we can do it up right.
Quit fooling around. We got a bus to catch. So where are we headed on this tour?
Okay, I figured according to this map, we'll go down Lungarno. We'll get off at Piazza Santa Croce and just walk over to Sant'Ambrogio. Okay. Artsy types. A couple of tips that anyone on a food tour would want to know. In Italy, there's less emphasis on presentation. Back home, everything's pristine and perfect. Oftentimes, the uglier, the tastier. The most important thing, though, is that you buy fruits and vegetables that are in season. Salata di carciofi.
Te l'ho belle detto, le tagli
Sì.
così, poi l'allarghi.
Sì.
L'allarghi, fai
Larghe, larghe, sì.
E poi?
Sì, sì, grazie. And if you get to know your vegetable vendor, they'll often give you a recipe or two. And another tip is you always ask your vegetable vendor to pick your produce for you. It's a courtesy both to them and the other shoppers around you. Ciao, cara.
Ciao.
Ciao. Growing up, I never really liked eating fagiolini, but being a good Italian boy, anything my mom made in a tomato sauce was a-okay for me. This recipe is fagiolini in umido. To clean your string beans, there's nothing to it. You just rip off both ends and you rinse it in cold water for a few moments. Now, the first thing for your fagiolini in umido is a basic tomato sauce, a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, and then just get a white onion and give it a rough chop, nothing fancy, and throw it in. Now, I love putting chili pepper in my tomato sauce, just a little to give it a little bit of kick. Stir your onions. Let it cook up till they get nice and translucent and soft. For the next part of this recipe is a can of peeled plum tomatoes right from the supermarket. Probably the hardest thing of this recipe is opening up the can and right in. And just with the back of a spoon, break up the plum tomatoes into little chunks. This gives the sauce a nice texture. I suspect people love this recipe because after they finish eating their fagiolini, there's a plate full of tomato sauce. And of course, here in Italy, everyone likes to do scarpetta. You know, a little bit of bread, dip it in. It's all good. A little bit of salt. And just before I add in my fagiolini, I'm gonna add a little bit of water. And lastly, the fagiolini right in. So the string beans are just gonna cook for about 10-15 minutes. They're gonna simmer in the tomato sauce. Tomato sauce is gonna reduce, get nice and thick, and the fagiolini are gonna get so flavorful. And I always recommend making a little extra. These hold really well in the fridge, and I actually like it the next day, even cold. While my fagiolini are cooking and Chris is probably shooting up a storm, I'm gonna be preparing a salad using a raw vegetable most wouldn't consider, raw artichokes. This recipe is insalata di carciofi. Most people back home get all freaked out about artichokes, especially having to clean them. And really, it's dead simple. Remove all the outer leaves, rip them off, and you keep going until you get to that pale center. You'll start off with a big artichoke, and then by the time you're finished removing all those tough leaves, you'll get to a small artichoke, and that's nice and tender and perfect for the insalata di carciofi. And now, with a paring knife, peel back the stem until you get to that pale yellow center. Now, if you're doing this for the first time, you might want to peel back a little more just to be on the safe side. Remove the top third, cut them up into thin slices. A little bit of extra virgin olive oil, some salt, fresh cracked pepper, and a little bit of lemon juice. And lastly, shavings of Parmigiano right on top. And then one last drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Insalata di carciofi. Hey, Chris.
So what's the next stop on this food tour?
I figure we'd do something that no food tour in Florence should be without.
So where are we headed next?
Well, I figured I'd personalize a food tour and go to a place where I go a couple of times in the afternoon.
Buongiorno.
Ciao Giuseppe, 2 caffè. Grazie. Everyone knows Italians love coffee. It's as much about socializing as it is about caffeine. It's a ritual that they take really seriously. So, to order coffee like a true Italian, a few things to keep in mind. Stand up at the bar, talk to your buddies to place the order. You know, it gives you an opportunity to socialize, talk politics, sports. Hai visto la partita?
L'ho vista sì la partita.
Non era fuori gioco, dai.
No, era giusto.
Come non va bene, la prossima domenica?
Prossima domenica ne riparleremo.
Va bene.
Intanto è andata così.
Okay, we'll talk next week about the game. Italians really don't have takeout either. You know, in the large styrofoam cups. It's not done when you can come to the bar and have a quick shot. Then there's the whole cappuccino thing. Well, that's had in the morning and definitely not after a large meal. In fact, it's kind of frowned upon. Not to mention, it's kind of unhealthy. You know, hot milk on a full stomach, just not done. E Berlusconi? Forse dopo.
Berlusconi non si vede più a giro.
Sì.
Non lo posso neanche.
Prego.
Tieni, assaggia i nostri biscottini.
And if you're lucky, they'll even give you a cookie to have with your coffee. So caldi.
Sono caldi, stanno facendo.
No, try them. Sì? Try your cookies.
Vuoi vedere come li fanno?
Grazie. And if you're super lucky, they'll invite you in the back to show you how it's made. I'll see you in a bit. Okay. Allora, cosa si fa?
Si prepara le lingue di gatto.
This recipe is called lingue di gatto. So first thing, adding our unsalted butter right into our mixing bowl. In our icing sugar, we're just gonna add a little bit of vanilla powder. And it's a lot stronger than liquid vanilla, so just a touch. Add in our icing sugar alongside our butter. So this is gonna whip the butter, make it nice and creamy, give it wonderful texture. So at this point, the butter and the sugar has doubled in size. It's nice and fluffy and creamy. And next, we're just gonna add the second phase of this process is adding the egg whites right in. About a dozen egg whites and 1 egg, whole egg.
Mettiamolo piano.
On a slow whip. Keep adding the egg whites and 1 egg, little at a time. So now the third phase of the recipe is just adding the flour right into the pot. Once it's nice and creamy and fully amalgamated, it's done. And this is your cookie dough. Posso provare?
Buono?
Sì, sì. Even raw tastes fantastic. Now this is just a buttered tray, and Milo's just making little logs. Eventually these logs will become flat after the cookies are baked in the oven. Now, lingua di gatto in English means cat's tongue. And the reason why it's called that is because when it gets baked in the oven, it actually becomes flat, just like a cat's tongue. So these go in the oven for about 6 minutes at about 350 degrees. Bene.
Ok.
Okay, fatto.
Fatto.
Just like a cat's tongue. These cookies are amazing.
Good. What are these called?
Cat's tongue.
Cat's tongue.
You know, I was thinking for the food tour, it'd be really cool to include some of the boutiques in Florence that I go shop. Visiting Florence, one may be surprised by how many specialty food shops there are. They're virtually on every street. Food is a way of life. It's Italian culture. It's part of the Italian DNA. I love walking through Florence. There's all these great little fruits and vegetable boutiques.
These colors are wonderful.
This place you're gonna love. Ciao, Daniela. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno Rocco.
Allora, so what fruits are in season right now?
Adesso la frutta migliore in stagione sono le fragole.
Strawberries, you know what? I'll
Sì.
take some.
Prego.
Grazie. Mettimi sul mio conto.
D'accordo,
Ciao,
ciao.
cara, grazie. What's going on, man?
That was
Try
my
these.
shot. Rocco, you gotta let me get the shot if we're gonna document this food tour.
Yeah, try a strawberry. Ciao, buongiorno, Pietruzza. Ciao. Allora, un po' di pane toscano. Yeah, about a good chunk, 100 grammi. I love buying bread in Italy. You know, it's perfectly normal to come into a bread shop and just ask for a portion of the loaf, just as much as you need for the day. This way, it's always fresh. You don't have bread lying around getting stale. And if you're lucky, it may even be warm. No, va bene così. Bene, ciao cara. Domani, ciao a tutti. Pan toscano.
This bread's so fresh.
Don't eat too much. We got one more stop before dinner.
Where are we going?
Hey, have I let you down so far? This is one of my favorite food streets in Florence. Look at the food boutiques. This butcher shop, oldest in Florence.
Like, how old is that?
It's been around since the 800s. You know what? The meat's still fresh.
Yeah, I hope so.
Enoteca, they got olive oil from Lago di Garda, Chianti, Sicily, the whole bit. Hey, what kind of aperitivo do you want?
Give me a white wine.
White wine? Va bene, vino bianco it is. Oh, ciao Daniele.
Ciao David.
2 aperitivo.
Bene,
Allora, un vino bianco e un Campari e soda.
bene, puoi servirti pure il bianco.
Grazie. Now, aperitivo is something Italians have been doing for a couple of hundred years. Basically, it's a place they can come, an oasis, where they come after work. It's kind of like the happy hour back home. Place to come and have a drink, cocktail, you know, just before dinner, unwind, chat, hang out. Here you go, sir.
Thank you.
And of course, in Italy, food's an important thing. They always have a spread of great crostinis and little nibbles just to excite the appetite. Grazie, caro.
Prego.
So what do you think?
I think I should get a
Look
shot
at
of
these
this before you
colors.
ruin it.
Look at these colors.
Just wait. Come on.
What do you think?
Man, these are great.
Hey, don't eat too much. There's 2 more stops on the food tour. Va bene, senti, ci vediamo domani.
Ciao ragazzi.
Tomorrow, ciao.
Buona serata.
Ciao. Oh, bello! Tutta la pasta. Ciao, Ciccio, come stai?
Bene. E tu?
Bene. Gianni, Chris.
Ciao, nice to meet you.
You know that food tour I was telling you about? Well, I'm here for that special
Oh,
dish.
it's incredible. It's fantastic.
Fantastic,
and
incredible.
beautiful.
Ciao, caro.
Oh, ciao, ciao, Rocco. Ciao, ciao.
And give him in your hands.
Ok, ok, ciao.
Ammazza, quante prezzemole fai?
Sto tagliando basilico, sì, sto tagliando.
Sì, sì, sì. You can eat really well in Florence, but for my food tour, it's more than just eating well. It's about the whole dining experience. And Stefano and Gianni always make me feel at home. What recipe are we gonna do?
We do gnudi.
Gnudi, yeah, one of my favorites.
Yes.
This recipe is called Gnudi all'acqua due. Okay, so Stefano, these gnudis,
Yes, it's made, we do gnudi with ricotta cheese.
okay, sheep's milk ricotta.
Yes, you can start here. Okay, cheese.
Throw it in.
Yeah. And spinach.
That's been sauteed with olive oil and garlic.
Yes.
Everything goes into a bowl.
2 pinch of salt.
Okay, quanto basta.
Quanto
Italians, you know, it's not
basta,
about
yes.
strict measurements, just about as much as you need.
Parmesan cheese.
Same thing with the Parmigiano, as much as
Okay.
you want.
To
Mix
fill
it in.
together. Yes. Okay, for example, if the ricotta is too liquid, we need to add some flour. We need also here 1 tablespoon.
Now, Italian cooking is all about feeling the ingredients. If you need a little flour to bind everything together, you just throw it in. Generally, Italian ricotta is somewhat dry, a lot drier than ricotta back home.
Okay, the filling is ready now.
Okay.
We start to do the balls.
Oh, we start doing balls,
Yeah,
okay.
we put some extra virgin oil.
Okay.
Like
I
this.
don't mind getting my hands dirty with extra virgin olive oil.
Yes, we wash the hands.
We
with
wash our
oil.
hands.
Yes. Okay,
Okay.
like this. Look. And we make some balls like this.
Okay, I think my balls are a bit bigger than yours, but it's all good.
It's the same.
That's all.
More happy for the people.
More gnudi.
Yes. Buono. Ecco qua.
So now there's just
thank
a
you.
tomato sauce that goes on top of the gnudi.
These are the ingredients for the tomato sauce.
Okay, perfect.
Garlic, basil, cherry
So it's just a
tomatoes,
fresh
and
tomato sauce.
extra
Olive oil.
virgin oil.
Of course, we're in Tuscany.
And we make one sauce like this. We put on the bottom of the pan, like this.
Lay the gnudi right on top
Yeah.
of the tomato sauce. Really simple.
Some tomato fresh on top,
Right on top.
like this. 1 spoon.
And this goes in the oven for how long?
10 minutes.
So 10 minutes in the oven, 300 degrees till it gets nice and golden brown. 7 in the morning. Ah, our hands with olive oil. Oh, grande Stefano. These are gnudis. You know, in Italian, gnudi means naked, and this is the interior of ravioli. So it's like naked ravioli. Yeah. Here, grab me your plate. Bye, Chris. You do scarpette?
Yeah.
Ah. E no, infatti, la scarpetta è la
massima della vita.
Yeah, it's the most pleasurable part of a meal to do scarpetta.
Yeah.
È vero.
This is good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I speak English very bad, eh?
No, I like your English, you know, South.
slang.
Yoli. Oh,
Era buono?
buonissimo, fantastic.
That's
great.
Gianni, puoi venire?
Sì. Oh, ragazzi, we gotta get one too, grazie.
Ciao. Grazie.
So, you know what, we should go to the Lungarno and meet Massimo. I gotta get some photos. You know what, my friend? Job well done. This is our last stop on the food tour. I'm gonna end my food tour with the Digestivo. Now, it's a traditional drink that's served in Italy after a meal. It's supposed to help digestion. Now, it started back in the 1700s where monks would actually steep herbs and spices in alcohol, and they believed that it would cure all ailments. Now, I'm not sure if that's the case, but what I do know, in a country where food is such a passion, it's probably worth something. Scusa? Ciao, posso avere 2 digestivi? 2 amari. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Oh, those look awesome. Oh, love this. Yeah. Oh, Massimo.
Hey, ciao. How are you? How are you? Ciao.
Ciao.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Now, I have to warn you.
Yeah, what
We
happened?
might have a little food
Don't
policy.
stand. Really?
Well, we ate, we drank, we had fun.
On my bill.
Absolutely.
No problem. I'm sorry.
Oh, ciao. Cheers to the food tour.
Salute to my food. Of course. This is picture then. I'm
Check
ready.
this out. These shots.
Oh, wow.
This is good. Oh, this is one of the market?
Ah.
That's great. Chris, what is this? Oh, that's nice. Good job, Chris. Oh, this is from the bus.
Oh, really? This is
You know,
beautiful.
yeah, this isn't part of the food tour, but, you know, it was Chris's kind of reaction to art. A couple of women walking down the street.
Ah, yeah, that's right. That's right.
What can I say?